What's up, y'all? Pop my collar. This is Jared, and this is Bonnie, and this is Free Game Friday, where every Friday we're gonna give you free game. Like I did that, me neither. So today's topic is gonna be pass it over to her. It's her selection.
Yes, my selection. So in light of the docuseries Surviving R. Kelly, we're basically talking about people that are pedophiles and people that wait till the girl is 18 but will be like 50. You have no stash. So basically, let us know how you feel about the subject. So subscribe and like. How do you feel about it? What do you think about 18 being considered the legal age?
18's old enough when you're young enough. Simple as that. If she's 18 and you 21, it's good. If she's 18 and you 31, 41, 51, that's where it starts to get creepier and creepier. That's my thought. So, depending on your age, 18 is not really. It is the age of consent by law, but as in Montana, apparently it's 16. Weird. But
yeah, I mean, each state has a different law of consent for sex. But like Florida, you can be 16 and date up to a 24-year-old, but once they turn 25, they can no longer date that person. So I guess that's more of where the confusion comes in, because technically a 16-year-old is a child dating a 25-year-old, so doesn't that technically make that 25-year-old a pedophile?
Creepy. That's creepy. I would say yes. Definitely. Because, I mean, even here in the military, you still go by federal law. 16 is not old enough. So, therefore, if you date or marry or have sex with a 16-year-old in Montana, you are still breaking a federal law. If you are in the military, you can still get in trouble for it.
Yes, and I've seen plenty of dudes get court-martialed for child pornography because a 17-year-old sent them some nudes.
Yeah. And I know one that married a 16-year-old, but
that's creepy as fuck.
They didn't do him anything.
But then again, you have to look at throughout history, rock stars and different people marrying like their 14-year-old cousins, or just marrying girls because they finally hit puberty and started bleeding. So it's like, what actually deciphers what a man or a woman is? Because for most countries, you're a woman once you start menstruating, and for most dudes, for most countries, most boys become a man once they have their little rite of passage. For like Jewish people, it's 13. That's when you become a man or when you become a woman.
That's some creepy people say. If there's grass on the field, play ball.
That's gross as fuck.
Hey, they also say something about if it can bleed, and I'm not sure. I don't know that one.
Yeah, exactly. When girls become able to bear children, which is really weird, because it's like you have these people that are straight up pedophiles, and I feel like people only distinguish people as pedophiles when they like fuck with like kids that aren't pubescent or prepubescent. They don't really. When she's like 16 and she's like, oh, she's 16, she's old enough, she's a mature 16-year-old. Like, the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, that's an excuse for I want to pipe it down. Pipe it hot. I need to stop doing it. Being 25 and they're 18, that's where I feel like that's kind of like the cutoff. Because for me, being 31, I couldn't be around an 18-year-old. My cutoff probably be 25. Probably be the youngest I would go. I don't think I'd feel comfortable with. Definitely wouldn't feel comfortable with 18, 19.
Well, you'd have nothing to talk about.
Yeah. But
especially
like,
in the era of mumble rap. She'd be like, oh, my favorite rapper is this. And you'd be like, huh?
Lil Pump. You're such a fucking hoe. I love it.
If that's how you feel. But yeah, so it's like, what's really the difference between...
When does it get creepy is what I want to know for you guys. When do you think it's creepy? We know 18 by law is legal. But do you think it's creepy if you're 31 and they're 18, or if you're 65
and they're
18 or even 21? That's still creepy. Like, I feel like the older you get, your age of what you are willing to mess with should also rise with it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can have a few years gap between it, but don't be no 20-year gap.
Yeah, true.
Plus.
Because my rule was never I would date anybody my little brother's age, because he was 2 years younger than me, and I was like, that's just kind of gross, just because you're the same age as my brother.
Yeah, I do the same thing, but with my niece.
And then, like, I would never date anybody as old as my sisters because they're like 15 years older than me.
Right.
So I'm just like, God damn, that just makes it look like I got daddy issues, or like, just like little kids.
Like, damn, I was changing my niece's diaper, so if you're her age, that's just kind of creepy. Considering I remember the day she came home from the hospital. So now dating someone that same age, that just be weird.
Yeah.
Just mentally
not ready for it.
I'd have to be very inebriated and raped.
Wow. But then I've heard guys get told by their dads, like, oh, your wife's probably not even born yet. And it's like, your son is like 15 and you telling him his wife probably hasn't even been born yet.
Yeah.
Like, that's nasty as fuck to me.
See, but it's weird because it's like I said, 31, 18. Creepy, right? But then it's like 41, 31. It doesn't sound as bad. 51, 41. That doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
So it's like the older you get, it's no longer as bad. You can be 60 years old dating a 45 plus year old, 47 year old, and it doesn't sound as bad. But then if you lower those ages down to 18, it's like you're 18 and you're like 5.
Or I just hate when people are like, oh, well, as long as they're both considered children, like, it's okay. And I'm like, you wouldn't want your, like, 11 or 12-year-old daughter dating some 17-year-old boy. But then on the flip side, if a 17-year-old girl was dating a 12-year-old boy, then the little boy would get props and be like, oh, you a man now. Whereas the girl, like, it's not seen as creepy. It'd be seen as creepy by her friends and shit, because they'd be like, why would you...
Double standards? Is that the word?
Yeah, it's a double standard.
Okay.
Because in the boy's instant, he's becoming a man. Whereas for the girl, girls are supposed to stay all young and princesses their whole life until they get married. But boys are told they're men once they finally have sex. Because there's so many guys that I've met that are like, oh yeah, I had sex when I was 10. I had sex when I was 11. And it's like, why? I don't understand that. You... Like, what's the point of telling boys that that's how they become men?
I mean, yeah, I agree.
It
is definitely a double standard because we look at, if it was a male teacher that was banging out these little students, we'd be like, oh, he's a creep. He needs to go to jail. Granted, the women are going to jail, but the men's response would be like, damn, what the hell were these teachers when I was in school?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing 25-year-old teachers. I'm older than them already. I'm like, the fuck? Like, why are you fucking these little 14-year-old kids? But then I'm like, what the hell was I? Like, why when I was 14, they weren't doing that shit? Granted, none of my teachers really look good enough to be smashing on. But still, after school detention, trying to get my grades up. Get that C to a B when I give it a D. Ooh. I guess it wasn't an A quality dick, though. But anyways, I'd really like to know what you guys think. Go ahead, comment, let us know, and yeah, we can discuss it. We're actually curious to see what other people think in the world, not just ourselves. These are our opinions. You heard them. We want to hear some of yours.
Yeah, so subscribe, and like he said, comment and like.
Heartless. Later. Until next Friday.